035, workaholism. Work is a necessity of life. We must provide safety, comfort, and the best quality of life we can access to ourselves and our relations. As time goes on, work becomes so repetitive and familiar, it naturally becomes habitual or addictive. As an addictive personality, I can honestly say that since I am going to always have fixations in my life, fitness, love, and work are the best ones to have. Even if excessive, at least they contribute something. But as pointed out, anything that dominates our thinking and lives is unhealthy and needs to be brought into balance if possible. Workaholism is one of the most prolific and common addictions in the behavioral category, but it is not required to elucidate on it too much. This section will be brief and mainly focused on identifying and treating it. Identifying. Two resources must be used to identify a work fixation: the opinions of your friends and family, and with objective analysis. If you are consistently criticized as a workaholic and loved ones often complain about your being unavailable or present physically and or mentally, you qualify. If your reputation at work and at home is that of the workaholic, you qualify. If jokes are often made at your expense about being one, you qualify. If one person thinks you smell funny, you may be fine. But if the majority of people around you feel the same way, it's time to take a shower. Objective analysis requires more of that self-effacing introspection we've been advised so often through this. Do you refuse, reject, or deny invitations or personal interactions more than 60% of the time? Are your personal needs, such as family time, exercise, household chores, and family or social duties and commitments, often neglected and finding their way to the things I need to do soon list? When you are participating in activities that are non-work related, are you able to focus and be present and engage in them? Or are your thoughts distracted by your work issues and responsibilities? If you answer yes to any one of the three objective analysis questions just asked, modification will benefit you. These modifications should be experimented with, and after 3+ months, 110 days, you can evaluate if they have improved your living experience. A simple analysis. Carry a notepad with you for 2 weeks and make a note each time you get invited to do something, and put a hash mark in a yes column when you accept and one in another column when you do not. At the end of 2 weeks, add up the score and see if you arrive at the aforementioned 60% refusal amount. Note down all of the things you accept but postpone, i.e. the things I need to do list. Review them at the end of the 2 weeks and you will get an intuitive sense if it is inappropriate or not. That uneasy, subtle feeling in your gut or head is the evidence it is too much. Do your best to acknowledge when your mind wanders to work responsibilities when involved with a non-work activity. This one is tough as it requires that brutal honesty and an awareness we are not trained to be attentive to. At the end of 2 weeks, if you simply cannot keep a sensible track, it is too much. Recovery. A work addiction recovery requires a gradated process. We cannot abandon our careers or jobs, so a healthy lifestyle must be fused into the excessive one. The formula is simple to explain, but it can be tricky to customize it to your actual circumstances. Working with a life coach or counselor can be very beneficial for the required objective input you need. Family, friends, and you yourself are not capable of being objective, so it is hard to get assistance from an objective person. Let's face it, if you're overworking, you probably have the expense resources to pay for some help and need to factor in some non-work related time commitments anyway. So swallow your pride and see about hiring someone for 12 sessions or so through the 110-day period. Week 1 through 3, factor in at least 2 non-work related activities that require commitment and focus to accomplish. Build a jigsaw puzzle, organize some home space like the garage or a child's room, or assist your kids, your spouse, or a friend on a task. Week 4, resume your natural work commitments. This is done to add contrast to the two lifestyles so you can mentally compare and build a reference point as to what is more fulfilling. 3, week 5 through 7, factor in at least 3 non-work related activities as described in stage 1. Week 8, repeat week 4. 5, Weeks 9 through 13, factor in 5 non-work related activities. Once you've successfully completed the 90 plus days, repeat the analysis for 2 weeks and see if the score is different. It ought to be. As always, anytime relapse occurs, cessation of any of the 1 through 5 stages, repeat the stages that was interrupted on a third relapse, begin at the beginning of them. Each week should include a contemplative or meditation on the benefits of these new actions to acknowledge to your pre-programmed subconscious what it is gaining from the shift. Most overachiever personalities find that they can artfully maneuver around the new quality of life addictions and still meet all of their work deadlines and needs too. We find that what we needed all along was to be more strategic and creative in our time management rather than the only option being to do some at the expense of the others. It takes a long while, as anything does, to get good at this balancing, but once it does, it becomes habitual, as all behaviors do. Soon, you will not need to sacrifice work or quality times and be able to live the best of both worlds.
We are all and all are one. Find